I just finished Google's 6-hour prompt engineering course, and it is hands down the best AI training I have ever taken. So I'm saving you the time, and I've packed every essential tactic Google revealed into this guide so you can master the entire system in under 12 minutes. Of course, I can't fit every lesson from this 9-hour course into one video. So if you want the complete training and an official certificate from Google you can actually put on your resume or LinkedIn, I'll leave a link to Google's course in the description. It starts with understanding how the model actually thinks. So Google structures their entire course around 5 core principles: task, context, references, evaluate, and iterate. The foundation of everything is task. This is simply what you want the AI to do. Not the general topic, but the exact output you need. A bad task is, help me with email, while a good task is reformatting the sentence to, write an email to my gym staff about a schedule change. But here's where Google takes it further. You can add 2 elements to make the task even stronger. First is persona. This is about setting the lens. When you tell the AI to act as an expert, you aren't just playing pretend. You are priming the model to access a specific set of vocabulary and logic. Asking for a workout plan is fine, but adding the instruction like act as a physical therapist ensures you get safety tips and anatomical focus, rather than just a list of exercises. It changes the entire vibe of the answer. Second is format, and this is your biggest time saver. If you don't define the format, the AI defaults to a generic wall of text. By asking for a bulleted list, a markdown table, or even a JSON snippet, you force the AI to organize its thinking. You stop getting raw information that you have to fix later and start getting usable deliverables that are ready to go. These 2 additions turn a basic task into a specific structured result instead of random noise. Once the task is clear, you need to layer in context. Context is the background data that steers the model. The rule here is absolute. The more information you provide, the less the AI has to guess. Let's look at an example. You need a landing page copy. If you just type write landing page copy for my website, you get generic text that could apply to anything. But look at what happens when you inject context. I'm building a project management tool for freelance designers. The target users are 25 to 40, and they are frustrated with tools like Asana being too complex. My product focuses on visual timelines and client portals. Keep the tone professional, but warm. Now the AI knows exactly who you are talking to, and the output becomes targeted instead of generic. Google's course emphasizes this repeatedly. Most people skip context entirely. They assume the AI will figure it out, but it won't. Now to really lock in the quality, you add references. References are examples that show the AI what you're aiming for. Sometimes words aren't enough to capture a specific vibe or structure, and that is where examples come in. Let's say you are writing a product description and you need it to match your specific brand voice. Don't just explain the tone. Paste in 3 of your best descriptions and tell the model, write a new description using the same style as these examples. Or if you are creating social media content, feed it your top performing posts and tell the AI to analyze why they worked. Then have it generate new posts that follow that exact pattern. References turn vague instructions into concrete targets. It stops the model from guessing your style and forces it to match what you already know works. Once you get a response, you move to evaluate. This means checking if the output actually hits the mark. It sounds basic, but this is where most people fail. They skim the text, settle for good enough, and move on. Google teaches systematic evaluation. You need to actively verify that the output matches the task, hits the right tone, and relies on accurate data. If it doesn't, you fix it. This leads us to the final phase, iterate. Prompting isn't a straight line. It is a loop. You ask, check, adjust, and ask again. Google provides 4 specific ways to fix a broken prompt. The first method is to simply revisit the framework. Go back to the start and check if you missed the context or forgot to assign a persona. Sometimes the fix is just filling in the gaps you missed the first time. If that doesn't work, try the second method, breaking into simpler sentences. The AI processes information just like a human does. If you dump a massive paragraph of instructions, it gets overwhelmed. Don't write a run-on sentence about a Q1 strategy targeting Gen Z with budgets and KPIs all in one breath. Break it down and write something like, create a strategy for Q1. Target Gen Z, include a budget, add KPIs. Writing the same information but with clearer structure results in better output. The third tactic is to use analogous tasks. If the direct approach fails, try a different angle. If write a business proposal is giving you dry, boring results, switch the frame. Ask it to write a persuasive argument for a partnership. You are changing the mental model the AI uses, which often gives a much better result. Finally, you can add constraints. Constraints actually force creativity. If you ask for video ideas and get generic results, clamp down on the requirements. Tell it, must be under 90 seconds, must focus on one single tip, must start with a question. Now the AI has to work within a box, which makes the ideas specific instead of broad. Now beyond text, there is multimodal prompting. This is where models like Gemini really separate themselves from the pack, as besides just reading text, they can process images, audio, and video natively. Say you are redesigning a website and need feedback. Instead of wasting time describing the layout in words, just upload a screenshot. Then command it to analyze this homepage design, identify 3 specific areas where user attention might drop off and suggest improvements. Or if you are a musician working on a track, upload the audio file and ask it to describe the mood of this piece, then suggest 5 alternative directions I could take the arrangement. The framework still applies here. You are just replacing vague text descriptions with high-fidelity visual or audio references. But we need to address the elephant in the room. Even the best models today suffer from 2 massive structural flaws, which are hallucinations and bias. First, these models can be confident liars. Google calls this hallucinating. The AI invents information that sounds authoritative but is completely false. A common example occurs with simple logic. If you ask, how many E's are in the word intelligence? It might tell you 4 when there are actually 3. It isn't counting, it is predicting patterns, and sometimes it misses. Then there is bias. Since these models learn from the open internet, they absorb human prejudices. Gender bias, racial stereotypes, and cultural assumptions are often embedded in the training data. Google's solution to this is a concept called human in the loop. You are the safety net. You are responsible for the final output. Don't trust the AI blindly. Verify the claims and question every assumption. Once you have that mindset locked in, you can start applying these tools to actual work. Let's look at a practical, real-world application. Let's say you are a freelance consultant. Clients always ask the same onboarding questions. Instead of typing the same responses manually, you create a master prompt. For example, I'm a freelance marketing consultant and a new client just signed. Write an onboarding email that covers the project timeline, what I need from them this week, our communication channels, and what to expect in month 1. Keep it under 250 words and make the tone confident but approachable. It takes 60 seconds to write that prompt, but it saves you 15 minutes every single time a client signs. Google's course is full of scenarios like this, from cold outreach to meeting summaries. But those are simple, single-step tasks. To really utilize the full power of the model, you need to use an advanced technique called prompt chaining. This means using the output of one prompt as the input for the next. You build complexity layer by layer. Suppose you are launching a podcast for indie game developers. You start by asking it to generate 10 potential podcast names for a show about indie dev, targeting aspiring developers with a playful tone. Once you pick your top 3, you feed them back in and ask it to write a 2-sentence tagline for each, explaining exactly why listeners should care. Finally, with the winning concept selected, you execute the big task. Using this specific name and tagline, create a 4-week launch plan including an announcement strategy, guest lineup, and outreach targets. Each step builds on the previous one. Instead of trying to cram a massive project into a single request, you are guiding the AI through a logical sequence. Now let's level up again. Sometimes you don't just need a sequence of steps, you need deep logic, and that is where chain of thought prompting comes in. Chain of thought asks the AI to explain its reasoning step by step. Instead of just getting a final answer, you make the AI show its work. This helps you spot flawed logic immediately. For example, you're helping me decide between 3 different pricing models for my app. Walk me through your reasoning for each option step by step. Consider user psychology, revenue sustainability, and competitor pricing. The AI doesn't just recommend a model, it explains the why behind every choice. You can then guide it further if the reasoning is off. But what if there is no single correct answer? That is where tree of thought prompting comes in. This technique explores multiple reasoning paths at the same time. It is perfect for complex problems like creative projects or strategic decisions. Imagine you are designing a mobile app onboarding flow. Instead of asking for one idea, you ask, generate 3 completely different approaches, one focused on speed, one on education, and one on personalization. For each approach, explain the user experience and potential drop-off points. You aren't following one linear path. You are exploring branches. The AI generates multiple options and you evaluate them together. Now we arrive at the absolute highlight of the entire course, which is AI agents. Google dedicates an entire comprehensive module to this concept, and for good reason. An AI agent is a specialized persona designed to perform specific high-value tasks. Google teaches you to build 2 specific types that are incredibly powerful. First is the simulation agent. This is your practice partner. It is designed to run live scenarios with you like high-stakes sales calls or presentations. Let's say you're preparing for an interview. You prompt it, act as a senior hiring manager. I am applying for a project manager role. Interview me using behavioral questions, one at a time. Continue until I say end session. Then give me feedback on my answers and suggest improvements. Now you have a live practice partner. You respond to questions, and when you're done, type end and get actionable feedback instantly. The second type is the expert feedback agent. Think of this as a personal consultant. Let's say you are writing cold emails and want to improve your conversion rates. You prompt it. You are a sales expert with 15 years of experience. I'm going to show you my cold email template. Critique it for subject line effectiveness, value clarity, and call to action weakness. Be brutally honest. The AI critiques your work, suggests improvements, and rewrites the copy be based on expert principles. And the best part is that Google provides a simple blueprint to build these agents for any task you can imagine. It starts by assigning a persona, like act as an experienced copywriter. Then you inject the context, telling it, I run an e-commerce store selling sustainable home goods. Next, you define the interaction. Review my drafts and point out weak spots. Finally, you set a stop phrase, like stop when I say session complete, and tell it to summarize the top recommendations once you hit that specific phrase. And just like that, you have a functional AI tool tailored exactly to your needs. This brings us to the final technique, which is meta prompting. And this is the ultimate cheat code. Basically, if you are ever stuck, use the AI to improve your own prompts. Ask it, how can I make this prompt more specific? Or what context am I missing for better output? The AI becomes your co-pilot. It is prompting about prompting. And this technique ensures you always get the best result even if you don't know exactly how to ask for it. And that is it. That is the core of Google's 6-hour course condensed into a practical guide you can use right now. Just remember the flow. Define the task, set the context, provide references, then evaluate and iterate. That specific loop is the difference between people who complain AI doesn't work and the ones who use it to save hours every week. So give this a shot the next time you open Gemini or ChatGPT. Stop guessing with a single sentence and start building your prompts layer by layer. And if you want to go deeper than this video and actually get the Google certificate, the full course is linked in the description. But knowing how to prompt is only half the battle. You also need the right tools. I tested 7 free AI tools from Google that go way beyond just Gemini. Click right here to watch that breakdown, and I'll see you there.